And I mean, if we're going to talk about race, then if you're a sports fan, I've always thought, which I am, I mean, I've always felt that the Major League Baseball was in no way diverse enough. I mean, New York Yankees pitcher CC Sabathia once criticized Commissioner Selig for not making sure that there was an adequate African-American presence in the game of baseball. And I agree with the man. I don't believe that there are enough black people in the major leagues. Major League Baseball is not diverse enough. There are a lot of Hispanics, and there's a lot of Asians, but there really needs to be some more diversity in the major leagues. And you can say what you want about Gary Bettman in the National Hockey League, but I will commend them on attempting to introduce hockey in urban areas to get black kids interested in the sport of hockey, hoping that someday there will be some black athletes reaching the National Hockey League. Because there are very few black people in the National Hockey League. There's only maybe like 11 or 12 or so in the whole league. I can't even think of the man's name, but there's this one guy who plays for the Atlanta Flames. Atlanta Flames. They moved to Calgary. The Atlanta Thrashers, rather. I just can't think of that man's name. Jarome Iginla or something like that. I mean, he's the only black player in the NHL I can think of. That's not good. That is not good at all. And then if you look at the NBA is completely dominated by black people. There aren't very many white people in the NBA, and I think that should be rectified as well. There should be, I mean, the big four, all four, the MLB, NHL, NFL, and NBA, should all have adequate presence of every major race. I just think that if you're trying to reach equality, I think that is sports are a big part of the American lifestyle. So if you're trying to reach equality, that has to be covered as well. So, I mean, cut. Actually, for that matter, while I'm talking about sports, why don't we just get on to another topic that has to do with sports. Steroids. I mean, we all know in baseball that steroids were a big problem, but I mean, the Baseball Association, the union, and whatnot have done a great job of cracking down on drugs in the major leagues. So I believe that the steroid era is more or less over. So, I mean, I don't, like, Kurt Schilling tried to suggest that, you know, if you're tested positive for steroids, your records should go away. I think that's ridiculous. Because, I mean, the steroid era was just part of the game. It's just something we're going to have to deal with. Like, you know, there have been so many scandals over the major leagues, like in 1919 with the White Sox throwing the World Series. There was the cocaine of the 80s. And, I mean, there have just been so many issues, so many scandals surrounding the major leagues that steroids is just one chapter in the era of Major League Baseball. So, I mean, I don't really believe that you can take away, like, Barry Bonds' home run record because he used steroids. You can't take away Roger Clemens' 7 Cy Youngs because he used steroids. It was just part of the game. It's just something that I think we're all just going to have to live with. And I don't even, and that's just talking about baseball. And there's no way that steroids are just a problem in baseball. I mean, like, Rashard Lewis of the Orlando Magic was just suspended for steroids just yesterday. That's only the third steroid suspension by the NBA in history. Ever in the NBA. There's only been 3 steroid suspensions. I'm going to tell you right now, there are a lot more people in the NBA using steroids, or using performance-enhancing drugs in general, than those 3. I mean, there are a lot. I mean, I will eat my hat. I will eat this hat if LeBron James is never used. I mean, just look at the guy. He's jacked like 50 Cent. I mean, come on. There's no way. That just... This hat looks stupid. There's just no way that King James, you know, didn't use. And then if you look at the NFL, I mean, you look at just the size of, like, the running backs and the defensive ends and whatnot in the NFL, I don't think that was natural. I mean, there's definitely some drugs in play here, you know? So, I mean, you can't look at steroids and just point the finger at baseball. You have to point the finger at all the big four. I mean, steroids are, again, just something we're going to have to deal with. It was just part of the game. You know, there's nothing really, as fans, nothing that we can really do about it. And, I mean, as a Red Sox fan, I'm not particularly shocked that David Ortiz used steroids. I'm not really shocked that Manny Ramirez used either. Actually, I wouldn't be shocked that anybody in the Major League Baseball that used steroids. I wouldn't be shocked if any athlete in the Big Four used drugs. I mean, I just wouldn't be surprised because we know just how entrenched in the sport that it is. So, I mean, I just think it's asinine to suggest that steroids were only a problem in baseball. I mean, it was a problem in really all the Big Four. And that's all I got. Good night.